This mechanical gaming keyboard is under $60. It has RGB lighting, customizable display screen right here, a volume knob, as well as it's wireless, and it gets even better. I modded my keyboard with custom keycaps, so that's why it looks a little bit different than stock. But today, I'm going to go ahead and show you everything you need to know about this keyboard, whether it's worth buying in 2025, as well as if it's going to be worth it going into 2026. This keyboard all contains a 75% layout with 82 keys, including a volume knob. It has a hot swappable socket with a 3 and 5 pin support. It has a wired USB-C, 2.4 GHz, and Bluetooth 5.1 for connectivity. It has a full RGB with software and onboard control. It has a display screen that shows battery percentage, mode, and RGB, as well as RGB settings. It has a 4,000 mAh battery. The keyboard is gasket mounted with flex cuts. It has prelude flying flush linear switches, as well as prelude stabilizers. It has double shot PBT keycaps, which are OEM profile, and it also has custom driver software. And if you're into cool budget tech like this, be sure to visit my comments and let me know what you'd like to see me review next. And by the end of the video, if you really feel that you got good value from this video, go ahead and subscribe. Back to the keyboard, and speaking of, what does it even come with? Included in the box is the keyboard, obviously, a USB-C cable for wired connections, a wireless USB dongle, as well as a keycap puller, as well as the manual, but I threw that away first thing. The case is all plastic, but it has a surprising amount of heft, and it comes in at around 816 grams, as shown here. The whole keyboard measures 9.2 inches wide, 5.3 inches long, and 1 inch thick. Yes, there's no metal top plate, but that does not mean that it feels cheap. Internally, it uses a gasket mount structure for soft typing and flex. The PCB and plate both have flex cuts, and there's a 5-layer internal padding structure. And for anyone that wants to know how it works, basically there's the bottom silicone sandwich layer, the bottom cotton layer, the PET sound enhancement pad, the IXP switch pad, and the pour-on sandwich cotton. So all of these 5 different layers help have that nice, soft, and cushiony feel of this keyboard. On the bottom, it has a 2-stage adjustable stand, so if you want to raise up the height of your keyboard a little bit on the back end, you can, as well as that smaller one if you want to have a slightly shorter raise. It also has a Windows and Mac switch feature, as well as a button that switches you between the wireless dongle, Bluetooth, and USB. On the right side of the keyboard, it does also have a caps lock button, a Windows lock button, and a low battery indicator or charging light indicator. The flying flush linear switches are smooth and pre-lubed, as well as the stabilizers being pre-lubed and rattle-free. The sound profile is pretty deep and muted. Now, I may type weird, but I still get 96 words per minute. The knob gives a clicky, tactical feedback with every little step, and pressing it in is fully mappable. The display shows your connectivity types, battery life, the date, and time. And if you want to adjust the RGB with customizable settings, you could just press the FN button and then press down the knob. You'll see we're going into our settings mode, and that will change, or at least be able to change with the knob. You see right here, if I go right, we can configure our effects, our color, our brightness, our speed, as well as our volume and language. Now, sometimes you might notice that this automatically just starts in Chinese. If you can't understand it, all you have to do is just press FN and V. Right here, V. And that'll switch it to English. But if it's on English and you want it to Chinese, you would just do the opposite with FN and C. The 2.4 GHz wireless USB receiver is fast and stable, and I've had no lag for gaming. And the Bluetooth can connect up to 3 different devices, and yes, the keyboard is compatible with PlayStation and Xbox, but it has to be through a wired connection with the USB-C cable. The battery lasts over a week with the RGB off and can easily last a little bit less or even a little bit more if you have the lights on, depending on your overall use. And for hot swap support, there is a 3 and 5 pin support for every single key. You can swap any mechanical switch with no soldering required. all you have to do is just pull the cap out, pull the switch off, and then replace it. So for RGB, all you need to remember is basically this FN key. This FN key is going to be related to everything you do when you want to switch the RGB software. If I press FN and X, it turns it off. FN X again, turns it right back on. Or if I were to do FN /, this will change the effect. So do it again, there's a new effect, there's a new effect, there's a new effect, right? And a lot of these are based off your touch. You know, say there could be an effect where, let's find it real quick. Filter through all of them. I wonder if it's this one. Yep, right there. You can see a lot of them are touch based, right? So say if I wanted to actually see what I'm adjusting, I could also press FN plus the scroll wheel or the knob. Press it again, and we're going into our settings. You'll see down here, we can now adjust the volume knob to go right. Oh, why is it not working? Let's do it again. There we go. Now we can see over in the bottom right as I can adjust, you know, brightness, the speed, the effects, volume, language, all that stuff I talked about earlier. But let's go back to effects. So FN, press down. Let's get into settings mode. So obviously you can't leave it for too long. Come on, it's being finicky. There we go. So let's go effect, press down. And now I can filter between every single, I'll try and zoom in for you. I can now filter between every single effect that I want to try out. All the way. And there's so many different to choose from. Now onto the downsides, if you want to consider downsides. Basically, first one is, yes, there's no metal when it comes to the plate or the base of this keyboard. Now, you might be okay with that, you might not. If you want a more metal feel, then go for a different keyboard. It's as simple as that. But I will say that the plastic that is on here is a very premium quality plastic. I promise you, unless you really know why you want a metal plated keyboard, then just do a plastic one. It's not gonna make much of a difference. It never made a difference for me. These are more so for the keyboard enthusiasts that are really trying to go one step above. Now the second downside, and I'll honestly say this is probably the biggest downside for me personally, and that's just the fact that normally this display right here is supposed to be fully customizable, fully keyword. When I say fully, I had downloaded the driver software that I needed for the keyboard, and upon doing it, nothing's working, right? I had the wired connection because Keynote, I know if you do want to actually look into it more to customize the display on this keyboard, you might have to do a little bit of digging, because I did some digging in researching why isn't my custom display able to be changed in the driver software, and I couldn't find much help. So that is going to be the downside, is that I didn't have the best of luck with customizing, you know, and putting on a GIF or a picture in this tiny little screen right here. But if you're like me and you just don't care about that tiny little screen, then that's not a downside. It really isn't. You just get to keep it for the rest of your life basically on, and I'll show you real quick. You get to keep it for the rest of your life on that little, you know, time setting, your little display basically. Or if I wanted to switch it up a little bit, I can go ahead and put it to their little logo that they have for display. Just something to have moving. And the next downside or con, whatever you want to call it, is that, and it kind of goes into the second one, the software is just not my favorite, right? The software I'm talking about on the computer, not the software that's within the keyboard, but more so on the computer. Honestly, you don't need it. Put simply, if you don't care about changing the display on here, which most people don't, but honestly, if you're getting this keyboard, it might be a factor, who knows? I don't care about the display screen. Also, I use it wireless, so you wouldn't be able to use it anyways wirelessly, because it only is usable wired. Sorry, I'm going on and on. Basically, the software is not that good. I would stay away from it if you don't need to. And the last downside is the stock keycaps just might not be in your favorite colorway, so you might have to drop an extra, 10, 20, 30 bucks on some new keycaps, just like I did. I got these aftermarket OEM keycaps, and now it really makes my keyboard look nice and good. And for those of you wanting a comparison to maybe a different keyboard you've had or you've been debating, let me just show you the difference in sound quality alone. So let's take a look at the Ajazz AK820 Pro. Sometimes I still butcher that name. So let's just listen to it with my mic right next to my neck. And now we will listen to this Keychron C1 keyboard that I had got off Amazon a few years ago. So put it, same thing, right next to my neck. I'm ready to press it. So this feels like a keyboard I would get with a 2000s Dell computer, right? Very clicky, very hollow sounding is probably the best way I can put it. So let's put it like this, right? And I'll hold up both keyboards to give you a good idea. Keyboard on the left, my left, is going to be a lot more creamy, a lot more smooth. They're all pre-lubricated switches too. You wouldn't have to worry about sound if that's one of your main concerns. The Keychron C1 is going to be a lot more clicky, might be a little bit cheaper, but also it's also a bigger keyboard, right? So we could see the size difference in these two. But at the end of the day, it was just a sound comparison. So if you've been wondering, now you know. So for a final verdict, honestly, for under $60, the Ajazz AK820 Pro delivers a killer combo of features, feel, and modability. If you're new to mechanical keyboards or you want a wireless daily driver to tweak, this one punches way above its price. If this review helped you out, drop a like and subscribe. This lets me know that I should keep making more budget tech reviews because I've got a lot more on the way, and I'd also love to hear what type of reviews you would want to see from me in the future. So if you have any questions about the keyboard, or you want to see me, maybe review a different product, maybe a keyboard, a mouse, a headset, anything, monitors, computers, literally anything of that sorts, let me know in the comments. Have a good one.